I don't remember that. I just remember, this is what I remember. I remember coming to see, being in your studio, and I remember
Yeah,
watching you mixing a track,
right,
and the way you were
right.
riding that desk, it was just absolutely
Yeah,
phenomenal. You were like a jockey. You were from one end to the other, and you were pressing buttons and sliding faders, and the bass was dropping in and dropping out. And, that's why I think they call you the Mad Professor. No?
yeah, that's one of the reasons. But also, I get called because I was just against the grain. When I started to build my studio, everyone laughed because, it wasn't like now you get a Mac and a microphone and you got a studio. When I was building a studio, you had to have some kind of electronic knowledge. You had to put together different elements, different transistors and resistors, and you needed a lot of money. So I was mad. And then, you know, everybody thought you can't make a studio. You need millions and thousands and millions of pounds to build a studio. And they were right. But if you knew how to build equipment, then you would shortcut that journey to building a studio because you would, instead of buying equipment, you would make a lot of equipment. And that's one of the reasons why I ended up with a moniker, and then people would come to the studio and they'd see loads of wires and they'd shake their head and they'd think, that can't work. That's that's madness. That's too much wires. But when they hear it, that's when they say, okay, now we know.
Now we know.
So yeah,
Well, you
it
didn't have
started from that.
YouTube at in them days to learn, because
Had
everything now
nothing.
we go to YouTube.
Yeah,
Where did you get
yeah,
your
that's
knowledge
right.
from?
Sorry?
So we didn't have YouTube back in those days to instruct us. So where did you get your knowledge from? You know?
Well, it started from my curiosity of everything because in our house, we weren't we weren't loaded. There were two electrical things in our house: light bulb and a radiogram. And I was, I was a kid then, about 5 years old, and I'd say to my mom, "Mom, why is that man in the radio? What's that man doing in the radio?" And he's singing today, and yesterday he was talking, and she tell me, "There's no man in the radio." So one day she went to work and I got a screwdriver. I went to the back of the radio and I went, "Kirks, kirks, kirks," and looked for the man in the radio. And of course there was no man in the radio. She came in, she gave me two licks. She said, "What's the matter with you? You want to mash up my radiogram?" So I said, "Yeah." She said, "Go to the library, get a book and read about it." And that's what I done. Went to the library, get a book, and I read about current and uh, voltage and resistance. And within the next year or so, I built my first radio. And that's why they called me mad, because when all the kids around wanted to play cricket and marbles and mommy and daddy and that kind of thing, I was building radios and I
Wow.
was building all kinds of devices. So, it's been a journey.
And so
Yeah.
did you go on to do like any electronic courses, or
Courses?
have you just kind of
Yeah.
developed it
I
all
mean,
yourself?
no, I did a few courses, but I got bored. I mean, there was a course that they used to do, what was it? Electronic and electrical engineering studies. And I would start these courses, then I would leave them alone. I would drop out because I'd find what the guy is teaching me, I already know. So, I didn't find it interesting. What was helpful though is when I was a teenager, just over a teenager, I got a few jobs. And one of the jobs I got was a job at Suncraft, a mixing desk company. And that kind of showed me how to like formularize what I learned already, and it taught me how a mixing desk worked from the inside of the mixing desk. And I started to then build my own mixing desk. And from then, I built my own studio because I knew, like the block diagram and the inside of of the mixing desk. So yeah, I, I mean, I don't have no qualifications
As
in
such.
music or in electronics,
So
nothing at all. Everything I learned, I taught myself.
and so when, at which point then did you decide that with the skill that you have, I know that you built the studio, but
Yeah.
at which point did you decide, well, I want to make music? And how did you decide what kind of music you was going to make? Because you're obviously the dub master.
Well, I was crazy about King Tubby's. When I first heard dub, I thought, you know what? There's no music like dub. You could walk to it, you could drink to it, you could sleep to it. Dub is like a blank canvas. You could paint what you want on the canvas. And dub is like that. If you're a songwriter and you got a dub track, it could help you to write your songs. And so one of the first dubs I heard was actually a dub of an Al Green track, Look What You Done to Me. And I was just fascinated in how it became like a framework for like DJs and a framework for other singers to perform on. So I thought, well, I'd love to make some dubs. So I built myself a guitar as well.
You built a guitar.
Yeah. I built myself a bass and I started to put things together. And then, yeah, I just thought I'd love to have a studio. Then I could make my own dubs. And it started from there, and it grew. Then different guys started to come around and record and rehearse. They were using the studio like a cheap way to rehearse, and I was happy because I was getting some proper musicians putting down some tracks. I bought myself some microphones and a piano, and the next thing I know, the whole thing took off.
How old was you
You
by
know,
this time?
this time I was about 21, 22.
Wow.
I get people start to come, people that I heard about, people like Laurel Atkin, Desmond Decker,
What?
Horace Mount Wallace. And I thought this is legendary. And next thing I know, people wanted to come and record professionally. And okay, I was working doing some electronic jobs at that time. Though I was bored with it, I really wanted to leave. And I think the people at work in where was it, in Chertsey or something like that, somewhere in Surrey, they could feel that I was bored, right? And one Monday morning I went in, the guy started to pick on my work, and I just tell him, listen, man, up yours. And I went back home. And when I went back home, I had two phone calls. One was from Moambasa, the song man, and Beres Bassa and Baga John, them lot. They wanted to do some recording. Then I had a call from Jashaka, who was interested in doing some recording as well. So that week I was quite busy with those guys. And I earned myself a bit more than than when I was going to work. And I thought, hooray, I'm going to do this, you know.
Wow.
And I jump in, but for the next 2 weeks, I earned nothing, you know. And then gradually it started to find itself in place. In the meantime, I found some local artists. I had like Sister Audrey, I had Deborah Glasgow lined up, I had Sergeant Pepper. They all would come around and do songs, and you know, I mean, the whole thing. This is around 1980, 1981. Then the whole thing just woof until it became too much for the neighbors, because I was doing it all in my front room. The neighbor complained. He said he's trying to sleep, he can't go to work, and this guy keeping noise till the wee hours in the morning. And the local council wrote me a letter telling me that I must stop. So I looked about for premises, and I found this place in Peckham, which is where you came. You came to the studio in Peckham.
Right. Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
And by the time I went to Peckham, we had about 10 artists really. We had like Aquism. We had Davina Stone, Deborah Glasgow,
R.I.P.
Sister Audrey, Sergeant Pepper, Tony Benjamin. I had people coming to record like reggae regulars, Mikey Dredd, Mikey Campbell. I had a few Jamaicans. I had Johnny Clark coming in. And it was clear then that the studio was getting established.
So let me just stick a pin in there for me, please, if we can just stick a pin in there.
Yeah.
We can't see you. All I'm getting is your mouth. And I thought, well, I'm not a dentist today, so... But we're going to find out why you are now called Ariwa. Is it Awiwa or Ariwa? Ariwa. But let's play one of your tunes, all right? So
Okay.
Until You Come Back to Me, it's a cover version. Why have you chosen to do that?
Right. You know, Aretha is like the queen of soul, and it's not easy for anyone to sing a song that Aretha has made popular, because she remakes songs in her own unique way. And Until You Come Back to Me was actually written by Stevie Wonder. And it's a Motown song, though Aretha was never on Motown. And it's just a very, a very special song.
Yeah.
And it's a song I wanted to cover from the early days. And I kind of started it with Deborah Glasgow, and we didn't finish it, but I perfected it a year later with this American girl called Just Dale. And I think this is the version you're going to play, right?
Just Dale. It's coming up right
that's it.
now.
Just Dale.
Well, in case you've just joined us, thank you so much for choosing the great vibes and good, glorious music live syndicated phone-in show.
No, you don't call anymore. I send it away in vain. I guess I rap on your door, gonna tap on your window pane. I wanna tell you, baby, the changes I've been going through. Listen
I can hear the famous what's that? What's that called? The echo
What's that?
chamber. Is that an echo chamber?
Yeah, delay.
Oh, it's a
Rhythm
delay.
delay, yeah, man.
Rhythm
Tang,
delay.
tang, tang, tang.
Kang.
Yeah.
You've frozen. Why have you frozen?
Am I frozen?
Yeah, you're
Moving.
frozen. Shake your phone.
Okay.
Hey, that's better. That's better. I see you've moved into the studio. So
Yeah,
tell me, how did you get the name Awiwa?
Well, Ariwa was a name that, in the 70s, that was the kind of, it's the first, we're like the first generation that embraced Africa and African culture, because for years, Black people after slavery has been like discouraged from embracing Africa, right? And when I was thinking of starting first an electronic company, I thought I'd love to use an African name, right? And I was working with a couple of Nigerian guys, and they kept looking at me and saying, "You look Yoruba. You could be Yoruba." And they have people that look like me, just like me in Nigeria. So I said, okay. I said, well, look, could you give me a name? Give me a Yoruba name, because I'm going to start a company. And they came up with about 3 suggestions. And one of the suggestions was actually Ariwo, Ariwo. And they said it means sound, and it means like just music. And I looked at it and I thought, I like this name, but I wasn't too sure of the O at the end. So I moved the O and I put the A and called it Ariwa. And
Does it have a
it's
meaning?
yeah, it means sound and it means communication. Like the ability to communicate using sound. Like in Nigeria they will say Ariwo, and it means communication.
And so what's your origin then?
My African origin, I'm not sure. It must be Yoruba, because people keep telling me, African guys, especially Nigerians, they keep saying, you look just like Yoruba. But my Caribbean origin, which is as far back as I could go, is from Guyana. My parents were from Guyana, and my grandparents, one of them from Trinidad and one of them from Barbados. So it's like multicultural.
You're multicultural. Right,
Yes.
so you've got this studio in Peckham now, and you've got all these bigwigs coming in. You're about 23 years old. You've given up your job now at this point, or are you still working as an electrician somewhere?
Giving up my job. Give up my job, man. I mean, I started to sign the dole. I signed the dole for about 6 months.
Yeah.
And then, just to get myself on the way. And yeah.
And so what was a tune that launched you now? What was a tune? Because you're there producing, people were using your studio. I take it that you were actually making records yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I was making like I make this dub album, Dub Me Crazy, which I pressed 1,000 and then 500 was sitting there until like this DJ at Radio 1, guy by name, he's not around anymore, John Peel.
John
He
Peel,
started to play, John Peel. He started to play the album, and it took off. So that was on the dub circuit. On the Lovers circuit, which is like the regular reggae circuit, we're releasing like the Venus Stone and Aquism, stuff like that. But the studio was really being used by a lot of the roots people, Twinkle Brothers, Shaka, I Benjamin, Jimmy Lindsay. I mean, a lot Mutumbi, a lot of people would tune in and use the studio, and a lot of Jamaican artists as well. They're using it, but people love to pigeonhole people, and the first thing they were saying is that, well, Ariwa is good for roots, but you can't make lovers or you can't make sophisticated music, And
But to be sophisticated, what do they mean?
well, I think they meant probably more commercial,
Right,
more
okay.
commercial, And I one day, okay, we had Lee Perry in, and Lee Perry, he would book out the studio for like a week at a time and 2 weeks. So when he finished, I then decided I'm gonna do some covers. And of the cover versions I decided to do, one was Country Living. So I laid the rhythm track, Country Living, and I invited a few singers to sing on it. And everybody turned it down.
Really?
Everybody turned down the track. They said, no, the rhythm not right. No, man. Don't like this, don't like that. Even Sandra Cross turned it down.
What?
Thought, okay, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. I listened again. I tried to see if I could change it. Couldn't change nothing. I went back again. And then I called back Sandra Cross and said, listen, come and sing the song for me this time. Sing it for me, I'm gonna pay you. And I got her back in, pick her up from her place in Brixton, Pim House, bring her around the studio. Bam, she had a cold that day. Vocals down, to her back, and that's it. When I finished the song and pressed it, for some reason I was very confident with that song, and I pressed 1,000. Normally I'd only press 500. I pressed 1,000. Went round to Dub Fender, went round to Jetstar, came back. By the time I came back to the studio, because I give Jetstar 500. By the time I came back to the studio, Jetstar was on the phone. He said, Mr. Neil, could I have 1,000? Could I have 1,000? I said, 1,000? Okay, nobody ordered 1,000. I said, you joking? He said, no, we need 1,000. I said, huh. So I went to the pressing plant, pressed 1,000, went back again, 1,000 finished in like 2 days.
Wow.
And that's when I realized, my goodness, we've got a hit in our hands. And that tune took off. Within 3 weeks, the tune sold about 5,000 copies. And you could say that's the song that actually I won't say it launched the label, but it put us more into everyone's like vocabulary, and
Certainly in their record box. But wasn't that Mighty Diamonds tune?
Yeah, but originally it's a song by the Stylistics. It's a soul tune originally. Diamonds did the first reggae version, and we actually took elements of the Mighty Diamonds version in our version, but it was a stylistic song,
Well, let's have a little listen to it. Let's see if I can get it up here. Hold on a minute. Let's see if we can get it up. So Sandra Cross, now, I mean, that's actually...
If you work in the
like to say,
you should be using Monday.com.
With our reggae artists, certainly, when they had hits with those tunes back in the days, now they're performing it. It's almost like their pension.
Theme song. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. Well, as I keep saying, the best thing that we could have done for Sandra was to credit her with being the vocalist on that song. Because it it established her in the same line like Carl Thompson and Janet Kay. You know, she was, and for the rest of that year, well, at the end of the year, she became the queen of Lovers Rock. Nobody could have touched her.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And so did you go on to make an album with Sandra?
Yeah, several albums. Went on and we made Country Life is the album, because that had Country Living. Then the follow-up to Country Living, You're Lying. You're lying, stop your lying. Right? Then we had It's You. You know, that It's You. What else we had? We had Make Up the Breakup. Yeah, and that album was quite successful as well.
Well, let's have a little reminder of Country Living, because that's a tune that still gets played now. In case you've just joined us, thank you so much for choosing the great vibes and a good, glorious music live syndicated phone-in show. We're speaking to the legend that is Mad Professor, and he reminisces on this particular tune that he made with Sandra Cross. Do you remember it? If you know the words, do sing along.
Country living, where the air is fresh and clean, going back to natural living, where the grass grows tall and green, and the skies can be seen. Ooh. I say goodbye to London City life is not for me, going where the stars shine brightly, and the sound of nature's voice lulls you to sleep. I'm going back. There's room enough for birds to fly. Meant to be, gonna take life nice and easy, going back to my old hometown, gonna live as I please. I'm going back. There's room enough for birds to fly, time enough to try. To fly. fly. Time enough to try all the things you wanna do.
Birds to fly.
Country life. Oh, with you.
I reckon that in the next couple of weeks I'm going to be applying for staff because I'm having to be an octopus around here. Everything's going off, buttons are going off that I haven't touched, phones are going off that I can't answer. Well, in case you've just joined us, thank you so much for choosing the great vibes and good glorious music live syndicated phone-in show. At the moment we're in conversation with Mad Professor, and he took us back to his that was his first hit, the one that really broke out. John Peel has a lot to answer for. John Peel actually was, I would say, one of the renegades of the music world because he would just play exactly what he wanted. Did he ever have you on for an interview?
Yes, and I did a couple of John Peel sessions for Ariwa, and this is when you'd go in and you'd make versions of some of your own records specifically for the John Peel show. And he was always championing like guys who wouldn't make it to top of the pops, people like Misty and Roots and Culture and just alternative artists.
So I want to fast forward now as we talk about alternative music. You are away quite a lot in far-flung places like Australia, New Zealand. Every time I see a post of you, you're somewhere, out in the sticks. Tell me about your journey. When was you first booked to play abroad? And what were you, how did you feel knowing that people that didn't actually look like you, but came out in their droves to see you? Was it like that when you first went?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the first time we went abroad was actually in the early days of Ariwa, just after I moved to Peckham. We got invited to do, as the Ariwa posse, we got invited to do Germany. We did Switzerland. We did a couple of days in Switzerland. And we did Holland. And we would take a van or a minibus and put in this van the band, which was like a chrism. Then we would take Sister Audrey, Rankin Ann, Sandra Cross, Wild Bunch, sometimes Alan Kingpin, and we would go. It wasn't a tunnel then, we had to go by ferry. We'd go to Calais or to Austin and then drive into Europe, and we would play to like white people, European people, a lot who hardly spoke English at that time, and they would really respond, and the feedback was great. And for us it was overwhelming because we were getting dates and playing to places that, like compared with England, it was magnificent. Sometimes we playing to like 1,000 people, 1,500 people, and we're thinking, boy, people in England don't really acknowledge it, this thing, especially in London. London was quite snobby about music. I mean, places like Sheffield and Leeds and Manchester, they would be more welcoming. But London was like, oh no, if it's not like mainstream material, they weren't really interested. So to go to Germany and Switzerland, so was great. The trips to Australia, that came a little bit later. That came in 1990 when I went out there to open the Australia spring event. Myself and Maccabee, we went and we played like again thousands of people on the Sydney Harbour Bridge, you know,
Wow.
and you know, it took the label to places where we didn't expect. And Ariwa has always been a kind of pioneer label for that. Like we're the first bill to go to Brazil and actually play dub. You know, we played dub in Manaus, you know, in Brazil. We played in Rio, and even going to Argentina. I remember going to Buenos Aires, walking around. Um, I mean, they couldn't really afford to buy the ticket, so I paid my own ticket, then
Oh,
got it back
wow.
from them.
Yeah.
And the first day after, in fact, the first couple hours after walking around Buenos Aires, I noticed there's no black people. So I said to the promoters, I said, "Hey man, this is fine, but where are the black people? How come you don't have no black people, not one black man inside?" And they turned around and looked at me quite sorrowfully and said, "No, we killed them all." And I remember shivering, thinking, "You what?" And they said, "We killed them all." And then I learned more about Argentina's history with black people, with the African race, and how they were really going through some ethnic cleansing thing. And they basically, who they didn't kill, they kind of sent to the front of the war, the front line of the war, and the enemy killed them when they had the war with Paraguay and Uruguay, you know, and Brazil. So you know, there's a lot you learn as you travel, and that's one thing about music. Music teaches you about the world. You know, it's quite.
Gosh,
It,
that took me by surprise.
oh
Wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
There's a lot.
well, you know, okay, but bringing it forward now to the digital age. I mean, I've
Right.
recently came down to your studio with President. I think it must have been about two or
Oh
three
yeah,
years ago,
President
and you still
Kennedy.
have your desk there. Are you,
Yep.
you know, have you changed over to digital? How did it affect you? Oh, you still have your desk there, so you're still making music on your desk.
Yeah, in this studio. I mean, my sons, they have a studio next door, which is a hybrid. That's digital. That's Pro Tools and Logic, and it's got a desk as well. And I mean, we've got all sorts of things. You could record on laptop. You could record on real desks. You know, you know because I don't like to throw in nothing. So I keep everything. You know.
So how did
Yeah, I
you
keep.
cope with the transition? Because when was it? Was it mid 80s? No, when did everyone start condensing their studio then to, you know, that area when people were making their music in their bedrooms because they didn't have such large desks to accommodate. When was that? Was that late 90s?
Well, I think the guys who had real desks, most of those guys, they decided that they're just gonna come out of business. I think the guys who came in the 90s, in the mid 90s, they're the ones who came in more on a digital tip, on a Pro Tools and Cubase and Logic, because one, it was affordable, and it was such a different technology from the tape. You see, but us from that time, if you look over there, you see there's a tape machine,
Yeah.
big, big, huge thing, which some people think is a washing machine. But yeah, you know, you either grow up with that sound and that whole uh, workings, or you grow up with like your laptop mentality where you could do everything on a laptop. And to me, it doesn't quite sound the same, but you got some people make good records on it, you know, no doubt. But I
So are
personally,
are you still making music from your desk then? Have you not ventured
yes,
into?
absolutely. No, no. I would be the last man standing. I think,
And are you still cutting vinyls? Or
yep,
yeah,
still cutting vinyl. Vinyl is coming like gold dust now, man. It's
yeah.
precious. And the waiting time for vinyl, like if you put in an order now, you might be lucky if you get it in 6 months,
Really?
because all the majors have gone into vinyl and they're all like you know, valuing vinyl. And vinyl is also very expensive. You get like an Elton John album or something that would sell for like £100 a copy, you know, or even some rare, hard to find Ariwa records would be £150.
Yeah, I was
You
going
know,
to ask you that
it's
actually. Yeah.
special things, and you can't get them. It's not like years ago, like with Country Living, where I could put in an order for like 1,000 and within 2-3 days I get it. No way, man. You have to wait months. It's, you
So
know,
when you go into the studio with an artist nowadays, then and even some of our seasoned artists who grew up with the 24 track are now
yeah.
making music, you know, digitally. When they come back to you, do they have a preference? Do they what are their comments? Are they happy to still work with you in that
Most
way?
most people says it sounds a whole lot better the old way.
Right.
Everybody says they, they say it sounds real, you know, and the separation you get uh, from different instruments is really unique. You know, it's really outstanding because the digitally things tend to get blurred along the way. You know, it doesn't stand out individually as it should and as it ought to. So, yeah, but it's an expensive thing to do the real way. It's a slow thing because, like, even the time it takes to rewind a tape from the end to the finish, yeah, even that like 60 seconds or 100 seconds, that adds up to studio time.
Wow.
But there's a purpose for that also. It gives the singer a chance to get their breath and get themselves together before they do another take, you know?
So what
So,
about
you
the
know, swing.
youngsters? What about the youngsters? Do you have any younger singers coming through?
Yeah, we've got a lot of younger singers that my sons work with. They're fascinated by the whole tape and the whole real desk. They love it, man. They love it. But you know, they realize that it's a science of its own, you know, and it's not easy to really get the grip of it.
So who can we look forward to hearing from, like a new singer or so, younger ones?
Right. We've got a guy named Aija, young guy, next guy Abel. I don't know if you got those records as yet. If not, I'll get Joe
So,
to
yeah.
send them to you. Yeah, we've got a girl called Amara. We've got we've got yeah. We've got quite a few people. We've got the Young Lions. You know, that's
So you got a
that's
few
coming.
people coming up. So we're going to have to round up now. So tell us about your schedule coming up. I know that you're in the UK just for a hot minute and then you're off again. What's your
Yeah,
schedule looking like these days?
right. My schedule. Okay, we had a few things canceled because they moved their whole lockdown thing again. But apart from that, on August the 1st, I'm in Bristol. I'm doing a workshop.
Oh,
On the 7th, I'm at the Wild Canvas in Hertfordshire. That's a camping gig where people are going to be in tents and then it just gonna be listening to dub. Then August the 14th, I'm at VSA in Cardiff. Then on the 21st, I'm at a place in Barcelona. I'm not sure where. Then 28th is Tottenham. There's a carnival party in Tottenham in lieu of the Notting Hill Carnival. Then on the 29th, Sheffield. There's a festival in Sheffield. Then on the 11th, there's Positive Vibration Festival in Liverpool. That's nice because it's got quite a few different artists on that festival. On the 23rd, on the 12th, there's a festival in Beckenham, just up the road. Again, that's got a lot of soul and reggae artists. On the 18th, there's a festival in Folkestone. There's a ska festival with Susan Cadogan and the Specials, and yeah, all sorts of people. Then 19th, there's a festival in Barbados, yeah, near Bridgetown. And on the 2nd, there's a festival in Falmouth. I shouldn't say Falmouth.
So can I just ask you, if we wanted to see your schedule, where would we go? Have you got a website?
Yeah, www.ariwa.com.
And have you ever been in a band yourself? Sorry, so I'm going to get you to say that again in a sec, but it just came to my mind because I know that I've seen you, you know, you're on tour. What is it that you're doing? Are you playing music? Are you in a band? What is it that you're actually doing on all these dates?
What I'm doing, I'm recreating the Ariwa studio on the stage. I run tapes and I run them through a desk. I might have a couple of artists and singers with me. That's what the show is all about. And we just in the studio making records, but on the stage.
Wow.
And entertaining people while we're at it, you know.
Beautiful.
And just
Yeah, go on.
pissing them. Sorry, shouldn't say that.
I didn't hear what you said, but that's okay. I missed it. But okay, well, thank you so much. And once
Yes.
again, where can we go to learn more about you, to know your dates?
Go www.madprofessor.com or www.ariwa, ARIWA. Tony Williams used to say Ara, but it's Ari. Yeah, you remember Tony Williams.
Of course
God
I
bless
do.
him. Yes,
God bless him. Yes,
But
yes.
ariwa.com.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to play an out-and-out dub now. It's called Spiritual Dub. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. Yeah, man. Well, it's one of those tunes that it just take your mind away, you know, and it's man. It's it's mental. It's
You hold
enjoy.
a med to it, right? You just hold a meds. Yeah?
Yeah, man. Meditate. Yeah, that's the one.
Hold a meds. Mad Professor, thank you. Mad, not so mad, I think. I think you're a genius. Keep up the good work, and I will take you up on your offer to come out to one of those far-flung places where they love black people, not where they kill them. And watch you do your thing on stage. Thank you so much. This is Spiritual Dub. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Professor, Mr. Not So Mad at All. Listen to that. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Recording stopped.
say a very good afternoon to Claude Thornton. She says, hey DJ Elaine and Mad Professor, good afternoon. She sends some kisses. Also going to say hi to George Williams, one and all. He says, good afternoon. Bless Jules Simpson says, good afternoon. Very inspiring story. A lovely song, he also goes on to say. Oh, that just kind of like whetted my appetite. Is that such a word, wetted? Sound like my grandson there. Here's another one from Mad Professor. Gotta get it on. When I heard it, I thought, ooh, ooh, ooh. Jackson's Blues Away, if you were scratching your head there trying to remember. Where is that melody from? Many thanks to Mad Professor, who took some time out to speak to us about his journey to where he is now. So many questions to ask him. If you want to know more, do what I will do, which is to Google his name, Mad Professor, and find out all that you want to know. Well, make sure you keep it exactly where you got it as we prepare for our next guest. Our next guest, he's a rapper, he's a businessman, he's a record label, and he'll be with us shortly. He sent me this tune over and I thought I'd get it on the radio right after Mad Professor, because he also charts his journey of growing up in the music. It's called The Jet Set, a Box Boy.
Right now, dreadlocks, why not get to find out since I come to England? So what? A pure yard man rule about ya. Now check it up, watching. I want you from the half track, getting shop, mix me down. In a fashion, see?
When I was 6, my pops got the old gramophone, hooked up the turntables, lights and microphone. Yes. Made a phone call, then the posse was home. The birth of the jet set sound was coming on. It was 1974, and I saw the birth of the disco sound when it was raw. Yeah. Made speakers from the wardrobe doors. It was reggae with my bass line and much more. Yes. We had a room dedicated to wax, a garage with mad speakers on backs in high stacks. And every now and then I cleaned the crate takes to keep the covers and the tracks and breaks in good state. It was my job, it was all for the love. I was 12 when I carried the crates into the club. When the fight broke out, we saw the knives and the guns. When they played James Brown, we saw the dudes and the Huns. Every Saturday night, I was clubbing with Pops. Sometimes I be spinning them tracks when he stopped. When the party's over, it was 4 o'clock. We had to carry the box back home to that spot. Every now and then there was a battle.
That tune is so short. We'll find out exactly why that tune was so short.
She'll do anything at all for me. Me because I give her just what she needs. She has no
Good afternoon. Who's calling the Good Vibes studio?
Hello, good afternoon, Claire.
Claire. Hello, Claire. How are you? Thank you for calling.
My pleasure. Lovely to speak to you. Lovely to hear your voice on the radio as well, Elaine.
Oh, bless you, bless you. What have you been up to today?
Well, I am calling because I've been enjoying the wonderful time, but also just to let you know about a venture that I'm doing at the moment with regard to my coaching services.
Regarding your what, sorry?
My coaching services, that is not mentoring and not training, but coaching. So bringing people to be the best they can be and enabling them to reach their full potential and lifting their self-esteem. Something we all need at the moment.
Absolutely. And I was going to ask you what qualifies you, but you sound like you're floating with the angels right now. You sound in very good spirits. Tell me, what qualifies you?
Well, having taken an updated coaching course, because coaching's been something that I've been doing within my career, over 35 odd years with British Airways, and one of the first 10 black, or should we say people of colour, to be working with British Airways in the many years ago, back in the early 80s. So having done coaching with my team on board the aircraft and as well as off the aircraft, but then deciding now that we're in this pandemic, this transition, I like to use that word, this transitioning time, to actually upskill my coaching and to actually take it out now as a personal venture for myself and for my clients.
That's wonderful. You know, when I speak to a lot of coaches, and not the ones with the how much are wheels on them, like that was supposed to be funny. I don't know where my head's gone. A lot of them say that they learn a lot from their clients. Is that the same for you?
Yes, because it's very much what I do, the transformation that I actually deal with comes from the client. It's very client-centered, and it's all about collaborating with my coachee. And it's bringing, the knowledge from within them. So yes, it works along that sort of concept.
Wonderful. And for people sitting at home, how do they know that they're in need of a life trainer, a life coach? How do they know that they're in need of one?
Basically, think of where you are now and where is it that you want to be? What is it you want to achieve? Everyone has goals. Everyone has dreams. But a lot of the time, we use our negativity to, to push that to the right down to the bottom. And we're always busy assisting people and enabling other people, our friends, our families, children, cousins, relatives, others, and we forget about ourselves. We forget about the us. We forget about being. We're so busy doing.
All right, and so how successful then is one of your, was it a course?
A coaching session.
Coaching session.
Yeah.
What's your success rate?
My success rate is very much 99.9% because we start off initially asking you what is it that you want to achieve? What are your goals? Where is the direction you want to go? What is the self-esteem that you want to lift? And after every session, I then ask my clients, well, what was your feedback from this? What were your plus points from today? And that's how we move forward. It's taking baby steps all the time. So that enables my clients to always feel that they are making headroom, they are making progress.
So with every session, there is a success rate because they come out, with a little bit more of what they need, I guess.
Exactly. You've put it in literally very succinctly. Yes.
And so, all right, so a lot of people that are sitting at home thinking, gosh, I could do with this. How much will it set them back?
Well, it's good that you're asking me that because literally, as I could say, feedback, and it's always good fortune to give back to the community, and for you enabling me to have this opportunity to speak on your wonderful show today.
Thank you.
What I've done is, because it's my birthday in the next month, thank you, because it's my birthday in the next month, I've decided to give back with as much as actually offering. Now, initially I was going to say for the whole month of July, but now I'm saying right through into August the 6th, which is the day after my birthday, I'm allowing anyone that decides to sign up, anyone that decides to get in touch with me on my website, sign up, that I will be giving 2 sessions, that's 2 sessions for a mere £20. So that's 2 sessions for £20. Sign up literally within this month of July and right through into August the 6th, you'll get 2 sessions, taster sessions for £20 only.
That's very generous. It's your birthday, but you're giving a present. That's wonderful. We love that. That's very generous indeed. Well, may you, what can I say? Keep doing what you're doing and keep growing and growing and growing and sharing the love and generosity.
May I literally give you my website?
Yes, please. I was going to ask you. Sorry. Go on.
Thank you, Elaine. I think you got caught up in the coaching and stuff.
I did. I was just mesmerised by your voice as well. Go on.
Oh, thank you. Elaine, right. It's Claire, spelled the French way, CLAIRE, at Arise Phoenix Coaching Services.com.
Thank you. One more time.
That's the way to contact me. Literally, Claire, CLAIRE, at Arise Phoenix Coaching Services.com. And just go on to the website, Arise Phoenix Coaching Services.com, and there is a link there for me as well. And also you'll see the special offer. But as I said, I've extended it because of you, Elaine. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for taking the time to call the show today. Thank you very much. Take care and happy birthday when it comes. Maybe we'll speak to you again round about that time.
Sounds good. Thank you again, Elaine.
Take care.
Safe, everyone.
Bye. Bye. That was Claire offering some coaching services. I hope you got the details there. Well, sitting in the green room, we have the extraordinary human being, I would say. And for more reasons than one, because he's a manager, he's a web designer, he's been a coach to the stars out there to help them be a superstar. He makes music. He's been around for a very long time. He's one of the UK's finest rappers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. In fact, do you know what? Let me just play this tune first and then let's get him up on screen because he's not on screen yet.
It made you change your mind when everything was perfect. I thought that you were mine. It's funny how such simple words affect the things we do. to say to you is never should have said the things to really hurt you. Never should have said the things that really hurt you. I wish it was not over. There's more that we could say. It's such a crucial moment and such a perfect day. I know it's not impossible for you to understand. Just reach into your heart again to hear what I would say. Hey, never should have said the things to really hurt you. Never should have said the things that really hurt you. Never should have said.
How funky and abstract is that?
Never should have said the things that really hurt you.
Gotta say a very good afternoon to Sister M Queen, who says big things are gone. Greeting DJ Lane Smith and Neil Ariwa. Fraser Mad Professor, she gives him his full title. Also going to say good afternoon to Lodrick, who says good afternoon, Miss Smith. Loved the interview, his journey and that of our other trailblazers has great world info. As he stated, the welcoming outside of England is eye-opening. Argentina is and has always been an interesting country to be aware of. See you there, Elaine. Not, he says. Joker.
Reverse the way I hurt you.
He goes on to say, Elaine, you have some really inspirational guests on your show. You also ask them relative questions, and madam, your listening ability is second to none apart from mine. It looks like we're going to have some kind of competition now, Lodrick. Well, without further ado, let's bring on the man himself, Black Prophet. Some of you may know him as, others may know him as Mark Anthony. He was very generous in bringing Dexter Wansell to the show a couple of weeks ago. We thank him for that. And also D. Shy from last week. Which would you prefer me to call you? Mark or Black Prophet? Mark, can you hear me? No, he's just looking down. Can he not hear me?
Really hurt you.
I can hear you loud and clear now. Technology. Do you know, I need a full production now. I need a full production team around me. I'm going to put it out there. Full production team is needed here on the Great Vibes and Good Glorious Music live syndicated phone-in show. What should you rather us call you? Mark or Black Prophet?
Just call me Mark. That's fine.
Just call him Mark Just Fine. And fine you
Yeah.
are, sir. Fine you are.
Yeah. You can hear me clearly, right?
I can hear you clearly. I can definitely hear you clearly. So
That's
let's start with Dexter Wansell, and of course D Shy. How do you, how are you in a position to send them across for interviews with me?
How am I in a position? Well, they're on my label. We manage them, and they're great people to work with. So, they're ready and available. Plus, I've known you for some time, Elaine. So there you go.
Thank you. See, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And so
Yeah,
tell us about your label. What's it called?
The label is called Digital Jukebox Records. We've been around for some time. We primarily do music that we love and like. We are all musicians, so I'm not necessarily someone that just sits behind the desks and run a business. I am a musician myself. I play drums, I produce, I mix, I rap, and all of that stuff. So being a musician myself makes me understand what the musicians want out of a label. Having a business mind helps, but I like to focus on what I like doing instead of what I sort of should be doing behind the desk, if that makes any sense.
No, absolutely. And your record collection is impressive. Are you a DJ as well, or are these just vinyls that you're selling?
No, I've always been a DJ since my father was a DJ from Jamaica. I've always been his box boy since the age of 12. So I've been collecting since then. And I've also inherited some of his stuff. It goes on forever, really. But a lot of this is mine. The sevens at the top there's a lot of that's my dad's. That goes on this way. And there's more 12s and albums and things there too.
So in your dad's collection, what is it? Studio One, Treasure Isle? It's all reggae?
Yeah, very, very, very rare reggae stuff. Real rare reggae stuff, which he brought back from Jamaica. And as you know, with a lot of old Jamaicans, they used to work out in the US as well. And my dad used to go to the shops and buy records in the US and come back to Randy's and sell records round about there to musicians as well. And at the same time, have his own collection.
So you were brought up on reggae as a box boy. And as I'll be playing some of your tunes while we speak, it's all rap, more or less. How did you get into rap? How comes you didn't follow the reggae route?
It basically, reggae, being of Jamaican and stuff, is basically embedded within us, so we can't get away from it. So back in the day when my dad was basically drumming reggae into our heads, listening to other genres was escapism. So also my dad was just not solely reggae; he was funk and funk music as well. So he was heavily into James Brown and all the rest. But we liked the funky stuff as kids. It gave us a little bit of a break from the reggae. Even though, it's a bit like growing up, when your parents' food always tastes somewhat, how can I put it, too much when you're kids. And then when you get older, you appreciate it more. And it's just like that. But reggae's always been around us. My family, everyone else. Although I'm heavily involved in rap as well, I'm also heavily involved in funk. Rap for me came on about 1978, 79, when we used to listen to the offshore Radio Luxembourg ships on a Saturday night. I was talking with MC Duke, a really nice guy, about the same thing. And he used to also listen to the offshore stuff as well. And we used to, on the offshore, we used to hear a lot of the USA stuff, the rap, the hip hop, from the old early Cold Crush brothers and things like that. So we were heavily involved. Well, I was heavily involved in listening to the rap stuff, and rap has just continued from there. But it's not just rap that I do. I will fuse any form of music. I was a drummer in a rock band for a while. So I will take ideas from everything that I've been involved in and create something, whatever it is, what it is, So that's basically it.
Beautiful. Well, we heard from Mad Professor about studios. Where did you come in? Did you come in with the 24 track, or did you come in with in the digital age?
No, I came in with tapes, reel to reel. Way back when I left school, I did a radio drama course where we had to do where we were using reels. We had to cut and splice, and that went into recordings of music. But I first began. I did an editing course with splicing tapes way back when I just left school. So it was all about tapes, and then from the tapes, the reel to reel, it was basically pause buttoning cassettes to loop a beat, and then we went on to buying my first 4-track, which was a Vestax. A Vestax, when Vestax first made a 4-track, way back when, I purchased a 4-track, and then it went faulty, and then I purchased a Tascam, and then a Tascam 4-track, and then after the Tascam, I purchased another Tascam, the 488 8-track, and then from the 8-track, I then went on to buying a 16-track, and then from the 16-track, you went to 24, and in the studio now we have a 48-track, all analog. I prefer analog. It's a warmer and it's a nicer sound, and analog is, all I like to mess with, really.
Beautiful. Now, as you spoke about sound, when I was listening to your music earlier on, I know you're British, but you rap with an American accent. Tell me about that.
It's funny you should say that, because when the Americans, because I spent time in America as well, I worked out there in Minnesota, people tell me over there, you sound British.
Yeah.
So even though it's all to do with the way you sort of, how can I put it, express your words or curve your words. You can rap a very harsh punk rock British style. You can rap if you want to sound like, say, Rakim or one of these guys. You're gonna have to curve your words in a certain way, regardless of how you curve your words. I mean, for example, if you listen to the likes of, say, Jamiroquai, what does he sound like? Well, he sounds like Stevie Wonder. He sounds like people say he sounds like American. He sounds like Stevie Wonder. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to create a particular sound, your voice is an instrument. So the voice has to somewhat comply with the elements around it. For example, I would sound a little bit silly on grime, but then again, you never know, it might work. But at the end of the day, our voices are instruments, and you have to treat it that way. So it's not about an accent or a twang or a sound. It's more to do with how you compensate and connect with the other sounds around you in order to deliver the whole package, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. All right, let's have a little sample of you in action. This tune, you're featuring African Bambata. I mean, like, I am not worthy. African Bambata. How did that come together?
Basically, you remember way back when with the old Zulu Nation and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, going back, BAM reached out to me and asked me to sort of help out with elements of the US hip hop. And basically what it was that there was this thing in the US called the Hip Hop Federation, which was not the Zulu Nation. It's called the Hip Hop Federation.
Right.
And BAM asked me if I could build something. As you know, I'm a bit of a geek as well, but asked me to help him build something for that, to which I did. And then he said, look, you guys, we got Zulu Nation in the UK. So I hooked up with a few of the guys here in the UK as well. And, I used to talk to BAM like every other day, through Skype and whichever else. When he came to England, would meet up. And BAM is also, he loves funk, as you know. And he's got a very good feel for music. He has an incredible collection. I would play him stuff. He's mad on breaks and old funk. And I'll say, look, Bam, have you heard this track? And he'll go, yeah. And I'll say, he'll say, have you heard this track? And, we'll just sort of talk about the history of hip hop, the breaks, the original funk and everything. So way back when we did a song with a guy, I did some drumming on a rock track. And this guy came down and he wanted to sing a song. The guy that managed him at the time was a manager of One Little Indian, which was something to do with Bjork. They came down to my studio that day, and he said, look, he wants to make a track. I said, okay, fine. He walked in, we listened to his voice is incredible, and he sang a song called Butterflies. Now the drums behind it was actually a loop of me in the drum room, so we looped that up and beefed it up and did some weird stuff with it, and the song was fantastic. It was really, really nice. So Bam heard Butterflies.
Wow.
And he was going crazy over these butterflies because the drum pattern that I played was very similar to Bobby Bird's I Know You Got Soul. It sounded like that type of thing. So Bam was really excited about he kept talking about butterflies. Mark, you got to get me that butterflies track. And I said, okay, fine. So I'll get him the track. He says, Mark, he's playing it he played it on his show in New York every so often, whatever it did. And it was brilliant. And I said to Bam, I'm doing a track about hip hop, having met Kool Herc and the rest of the guys in the Bronx. I said, I'm going to do a track called What Is Rap, which was off my old album called The Second Coming. And I just basically wanted to talk about how it all started and everything else. So Bam says, let me introduce that. Let me say something at the beginning of that. I said, boy, that'll be cool. So Bam goes, introducing the Black Prophets, the Moors, and whichever he did on the track. So I believe you're going to play it now anyway.
I'm going to play it right now.
All right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, in case you've just joined us, I'm in conversation right now with Black Prophets. He's just told us all about his meeting with African Bambaataa. Wow. I mean, that is just... what can I say? We love it to death, or we love them or him to death. This is, I can't see what it's called. What's it actually called?
It's called, the one with, it's called What Is Rap?
What is Rap?
What is Rap? Yeah, it basically, Bam said he wanted to introduce the track. So I said, cool. He wasn't actually present when we did the track. He was the track was actually created here in New York here in my studios in UK. But Bam was he called in via Skype and we put him through the desk, and then he just did his stuff. It's a shame, obviously, Bam is in a pretty weird place at the moment with the press. But musically, on a music level, he's a great guy to have worked with. He's worked with a lot of people, including Johnny Rotten and the Sex Pistols, Blondie and them. He's a musician and he's a great musician. But unfortunately, there's some stuff happening in the media which I don't know about. But it's sad what's happening. And but back to the music, Bam is been a great influence to us all in hip hop, and from the stuff that he did back in the day. And it was an honor to have him on this track, and it's called What Is Rap. And it's by the Black Prophets, myself rhyming. All right.
Thank you.
I say what is rap, and you point to a gun. I say what is rap, and you point to a gun. I say
Africa Bambaataa, Dr. Shaka Zulu, King Yoda, Heck Tech. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing from all over the universe, the mighty Black Prophets, coming to you live. Behold the power of the Black Prophets, the Lords, the kingdom of the Moors.
I say what is rap and you point to a gun. When I say what is hip hop, then most of y'all run. The truth of the matter is the picture that's been painted around the real culture that should be separated. Far from the media, back to the block. You know that shit is crazy when some friggin' turn pop. Ask Kool Herc, yeah, that again from Jamaica. From the Caribbean to the East Coast America. He came with a speaker, dropped the maddest beats. Swinging and went crazy, can't control their feet. The dancers formulated, the breakdance was new. The pioneers of that, this shit was the rock steady crew. But as the tables turned and the DJs played the track, some dudes grabbed the mic, started talking, that was rap. We soon became an art, and to do that shit was tricky. Cause from the train yards came the kings of graffiti. Herc kinda noticed that the kids love the breaks, cause the breakers used to dance while some other cats shake. He got 2 decks to extend the point. When the brother kept it going, that was known as the Crosstown was a brother by the name of Flash. He loved to watch the Herc try to loot beats fast. But Flash was quick on the mix with mad tricks, scratching, cutting beats to mad hits. They all got together, bam on the force. They let the music play, then nature took its course. They put it all together, and now we can't stop. Who heard gave the name of this craze hip hop.
Here's a little story that must be.
Well, in case you've just joined us, thank you so much for choosing the great vibes and good, glorious music. Live syndicated phone-in show. At the moment, I'm in conversation with Mark from Black Prophets. Gotta say hi to D. Green Eyes, hi. How you doing, my darling? Thank you for joining us.
5 Spoonie G, the treacherous 3, and the 5 MCs. Come on, the Cold Crush brothers and the disco.
What I like about your rapping, I should say, is that it's the enunciation. I can understand every single word you're saying. In fact, you sound like a all right, so you say prophets, but so far I've heard you kind of like giving us history. You're like a historian then. Tell us how you came by the name Prophets. Black Prophets.
Well, many years ago when we first started, me and a few friends, we wanted, it was all a fashion to have a sound system, and obviously we wanted to break away to have our own sound system. So we created this name called the Audio Kings, which was just like, we were supposed to be a sound system playing out. I particularly didn't want to be a sound system again, because from the age of 12, carrying these great big speakers everywhere, carrying my dad's boxes and records and everything else, it takes its toll. And by the time I was 18, my friends are like, yeah, let's be a sound system. Let's be a sound system. I'm like, geez, man, I just want to make music. I want to make the music I would watch my dad play records and play music. I'm thinking, well, if he's enjoying it that much, I want to be the one whose music he's enjoying rather than going out there and buying the records. Okay. So I thought, if I was a musician, if I could play the stuff, DJs would want my stuff. So my angle was more of a creator than to be a buyer of music, even though I do buy a lot of vinyl and stuff. You know, it was something that I just wanted to break away from for a little while, because I was surrounded by so much. We wake up with music and go to bed dancing with music. It was every day. It's not something that was bad, but it was in us. The whole family, music, buying music, DJing. Saturday nights, I was out with my dad till 4 a.m, and then it was church at 9 o'clock. I didn't necessarily want to do all that again at 18. So I said to my friends, you know what? I did this track. These guys in the studio, there was a compilation album, and they wanted a track on there. And a friend of mine said he didn't want to do it. And I thought, well, you know what? If you don't want to do it, fine. I was producing the track for the guy, but he sort of didn't want to do it anymore. And the guys that were doing the compilation album turned around to me and said, could you do it? And I was like, well, I could, but, you know, what do you want me to do? And it says, just do a rap, blah, blah, blah. So I went home, I had my 4-track. I put together this track called Feel the Force, which was a sample from a break by Herbie Mann, and it has some incredible horns on it and everything else. And I gave them that, and they went, whoa, this is crazy. So in no time at all, they thought, we got to snap this guy up. So my friends weren't too happy about it, because they wanted this sound system thing, but I wanted to make music. So I created this track called Feel the Force. They wanted me to sign contracts, everything else, blah, blah, blah. The track went out, people heard it, they loved it. It got me a deal with a label in London called GTI. The gentleman's died now, Peter Harris. GTI Records, Kicking Records in Ladbroke Grove. You may remember them.
Yes, I do.
And
I do.
So we were sort of to be signed to them. I then created a track. I created a track called Facts on Wax, which was a loop of Yazuku Agawa's LA Nights.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that track? It was big.
Yeah.
So I basically looped and rapped over that, and it was incredible. It was a hit. It got to the jazz charts, got to number 8 in the jazz charts, or 9 in the Echo's jazz charts, or something like that. It was real big. Everybody was playing it. And then during that time, I thought, you know what? Audio Kings is a sound system. We sat back and I thought, look, we want to change the name. We had a little sort of throwing a bag to see what it was. I threw in Black Prophets. Black Prophets, handpicked, that came out, and that's what it was.
Oh, wow.
Black Prophets. Yeah. So we had several other names, but I threw in Black Prophets. It could have been a different name.
What was it? What were the other names? What were the other names?
Things like Beat Roots, Beat Junkies, all black stuff, Black Brothers in Action, BIA, all these weird. We were at a very conscious stage in hip hop,
right?
So everything was all about black and Africa. You remember that era?
Yeah.
So the name had to sort of reflect. The strange thing is that my friends who were with me at the time, they weren't that much into making music. They weren't musicians.
Yeah.
They were just friends that just wanted to just play music and all the rest. So I was the one that was lumbered with making the music, creating the music, doing the raps, and so on. So I was doing everything. So I did the entire album. I produced the entire album. Every track on the album called Second Coming, I created, I made in my little studio. It came out, it got big. We had the likes of Sed G from Ultramagnetic MCs on there. Tony Tone from Cocoa Brothers came on there. We had the girl from Us Three was on there. We had, who else we had on there? We had several guests on there. The album was brilliant. And off that, the cool thing was that after that album was made, it got right up there, got a lot of fans and people started talking. And then I got a phone call. Someone said they wanted a track for a TV advert. Send us what you got. So I sent them the album. They turned around and said, we want that track, What Is Rap?
Yeah.
We want that What Is Rap track. That track is it. So if you look around and you type in the word in Google, Mentos, Fruity Fruit, you'll see and hear my voice all over that.
Wow.
And the track that you just played, there was another version to that, which that's what was used in the advert globally, worldwide, everywhere. You know, and thanks to my friend in London that hooked that up. And he's forever hooked me up with stuff. As you know, I've done voiceovers as well. You'll probably come to that. I love messing with voices. But I'll let you get on with that.
No, fantastic. So whilst we're on rap at the moment, we've seen rap transition over the years. What is the difference between hip hop and rap? And what would you say, you know, has it died out? Because rap isn't, well, I don't think rap is what it used to be or sounds the way it used to. And do we still have people making rap music in that way?
Well, what I would say is that everything changes. What's happened to rap happened to house and garage. You remember when house and garage went to acid and then bleeps and blah, blah, blah? Yeah? And acid rave and all that. Music changes. So the kids today, the one thing what I would say is that the kids today are very, they do appear, I'm not saying all of them, some of them do appear quite impatient. And when I say impatient, they don't want to be musicians. They just want to press the buttons and make something pretty quick, you know?
Yeah.
But I think back in the day obviously we had the equipment we had were not as technologically superb as what they have today. I find that a lot of the equipment is all about making it easy. Whereas back in our day, the equipment was all about creating something.
Right.
So where we had, say, the Akai sampler, and we had key groups and MIDI and blah, 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 and all this tedious stuff just to get a loop and just to get a kick drum or a snare drum. Today, it's all done for them. They can just go online and pull down a drum and blah, 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 and all the rest. But that's no diss to them. The kids are doing fine. They've created, you know, their own sort of sound, which is very much geared around the Roland TR-808 sound, or should I say the Dirty South sound, the trap stuff, which I'm not particularly a great fan of, but I respect it. You know, it's an art form to an extent. It's some of the stuff that does come out does sound a little crazy. It just sounds like they've just pressed a button and just went, yeah, you know, but either way, I just feel that the hip hop that was made in the 80s, 90s, 70s, 80s and 90s and little below the 2000s contained a lot more creativity.
Right.
than what we're hearing today.
Because many would say, like, because I have this conversation all the time, our parents would say, you know, turn off that rubbish when we were listening to Big U. What on earth is he talking about, you know? And they would say the same thing about rap, but we loved it. And so here we are saying the same thing about trap music and the likes of. I happen to love it all, I confess. It's my, you know.
Well, so the thing is, trap. I don't think trap is not bad. There are trap tracks out there which are really good.
Yeah.
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 The problem that I see with some, and I say some of the trap music, is the ones that are very negative and the one that doesn't contain that much effort in creation. But there are some incredible trap tracks out there. Every genre has its greatness.
Yeah.
And we cannot just dismiss a genre just because of the way it is. Every genre has its greatness, and trap has got its greatness. Rap has got its greatness in the same way as 90s hip hop, which is for me one of the best time eras in hip hop. The peak of when hip hop to me was when we got out of the breakbeat stuff and the real cutting and scratching in the 90s. To me, that was, I mean, Elaine, you know, back in the days, you go to the flavor of the month or the arches or even the fridge. When you go to, you know, like a Westwood Jam or something, and you store everybody there, we were dancing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, there was the rap and cutting not rap, what was it, mixing competitions? The
DMCs,
the technique decks that they all used to win.
That still happens. Sally and Christy still does that.
And they
that
still do that.
Happen.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Fantastic
that's still
times.
big.
I mean, they would happen at like places like the Hippodrome. How big was that? And they'd fill out the venue.
Well, let me tell you this, right? The DMC competitions are still going strong. Christy in New York and Sally over here, they're still pushing that, and it's phenomenal. And the DJs are incredible. So that essence of real hip hop is still here, and it's still happening. You just type in the word DMC competitions in Google, and you will see what's really happening. It's still going. It's still going strong.
Yeah, no, definitely,
Yeah.
And of course the breakdancing that goes with it as well. You know,
oh yeah, yeah.
You know, that's still happening a lot with skateboards, and that still happens a lot. Let's bring up to date, because we've got our next guest waiting in the green room right now, and I can't let you go without talking about the child in you that has suddenly come out in what is it? A series? Is it a book series or is it a TV series?
Okay, well, basically, when I did the voiceovers for the Monopoly kids games and stuff, when I was there, the guys were going, "Man, you can do all these voices. You can do all these voices." I said, "Yeah, I can." So, but the thing is, when I did, and my kids as well, they love it when I do these voices. They listen to it and stuff. So one day, my daughter had this story, and I said, "Well, she comes up with like the stories, and I turn them mad. I turn them crazy." So first of all, we began with the Hare and the Tortoise. Yeah, you heard that one.
Yeah.
And I just went crazy on that. So we thought, you know, let's do something for the kids. Whilst I'm doing all this rap stuff, jazz stuff, funk stuff, everything, it's funny to do, and it's enjoyable to do, and that's the thing that I really love about doing it. So we did the Hare and the Tortoise. And then after that, my daughter came up with some story about school. And I once again turned it crazy about the kid called Jackson, who was just a pain in the backside and causing stress and problems at school. But it's all done in a Jamaican way.
Yeah.
You know, so I love to me, I find it really sad because the Jamaican, how we speak as Jamaicans and stuff, I don't ever want that to die. And I'm saying to my kids, please, it's the greatest way to speak. It's funny. It's a great little language to have, you know. And they should always remember and try to teach your kids that, you know. And as you know, Jamaican patois is so funny,
if
and when used in the right way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you've made me a couple of jingles. All right, so I'm going to play that so people can hear
All right.
the the accent at least.
Hey, what's up? It's your man, Sure Shot,
that's the
aka
wrong
the
one.
Black Prophet, of course. And you're listening to DJ Elaine on the original Soul Syndicate circuit.
Hey, I want to tell you something, yeah? I picnic them there, Black Prophet. You have DJ Alien and I sat them midday on this Soul Syndicate. Shot the show, yeah? Wanna try make it, yeah? Listen to me, y'all, Alien, and I sat there midday on the original Soul Syndicate show, yes? Aye.
I'm sorry. Oh my God. So it's brilliant because it's actually, that was a happy accident because there we heard you with the, hey, it's Black Prophets. And then we, so where can we, oh God. So where can we find this series, this kids series? Where can we find it?
It's on podcast. I've got to find more time to do more. We've got so much ideas. My daughter as well. The testing is with my son Levi. I basically say, Levi, come here, and I put the headphones on him, and he listens to it. And if he's creasing up on the floor, it's good.
Yes.
So that he's only 7, and he tests everything for me. Whereas my daughter Alicia, she's very creative, and she give me some ideas, and I just make them crazy. So Pickney Dem is a website called pickneydem.com, I believe. Spelled pickneydem.com.
Yeah.
And we've done 2. There's going to be more and more. We make it very children friendly and child friendly.
Yeah.
So me personally, we used to have a lot of shows back in the day. A lot of the ideas, or my ideas came from an album that I had, which my mum gave me, called Bim and Bam. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I've got them. I've got a couple of those albums, Bim and Bam.
Right.
Yeah.
Bim and Bam.
Yeah.
Bim and Bam, we used to listen to. I'm thinking, wow, this is great. And there's nothing like that out there. So I just want to recreate all of that again. It's funny, Bim and Bam. I grew up on Bim and Bam.
Yeah, me too.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bim and Bam and the rest on Palmer Records and stuff, incredible. So you're going to see more of Pickney Dem, and it's all children friendly. So, and it's always got morals behind it.
Yeah.
And it teaches you something. So that's the objective, to keep it child friendly for the kids, and for West Indian, Jamaican, Caribbean parents to play to their kids, knowing that it's not going to take them in the wrong place.
No, definitely.
And the thing is as well, yes, and adults as well will find it funny because they can also relate to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good fun. It's good fun. But before I go there, Elaine, I've got to say a shout out to Dexter Wansel.
Mm-hmm.
You see his album right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is.
Life on Mars.
Yes.
Dexter's got a new single coming out pretty soon, and believe you me, it is the bomb. Sang by a phenomenal lady. Google her. She's a famous actress in Hollywood. They went out there in Hollywood and filmed. A lady called Terry Dexter. No relation to Dexter.
Oh, wow.
Quite ironic that her last name is Dexter, and Dexter's called Dexter.
Yeah.
So
brilliant.
I talk to Terry all the time. She's a fantastic lady and a phenomenal singer. Man,
Can't wait to hear
she
it.
makes it look so easy. So there's a new song and video coming out with Dexter Wansel pretty soon. His last album, which is The Story of Mars, blah 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 blah.
Story of the journey. The story of the journey to Mars or something. Yeah, it's a very long one. Yeah.
Yes, that album, beautiful album. There's another album which is already done, which is coming out after the single.
Right.
Yeah. We've got Loose Ends. Oh man, Carl. You're gonna have Carl on in a few weeks time or something.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You're going to come back with him. Yeah.
Yeah, Carl's new single is absolutely amazing. Reminds me of Marvin Gaye and that. The album is got some incredible stuff on there as well. You're going to have to, that is going to be a bomb. That is Grammy material right there. Carl's next album and Dexter's next album to come.
So will Carl come back as Loose Ends, or will he be coming back as a solo artist?
No, Carl is Loose Ends. Carl is Loose Ends.
So we're not going to have Jane and Steve on it?
No, they left the band in 1990, was it 1989, something like
Oh,
that?
right.
They
I
left.
thought they had rekindled. Okay. All right. So
No,
it's Carl. So Carl is loose
no,
end.
Carl, and there's also additional female vocalists. If you remember, Look How Long, right?
Yes, I do.
Right. It's that again, but it's slight change around. So if you remember when Look How Long came, there wasn't any Steve or Jane.
Right. Right.
The whole album was done by Carl.
Yeah.
But it's still loose ends.
Yeah.
So what you've got happening here is loose ends. Loose ends as loose ends is loose ends. Unfortunately, Jane and Steve left back in the day, great performers and musicians, but they decided to leave for reasons, whatever reasons it was. But Carl continued with loose ends and did the album Look How Long, and now he's doing another album. It took a bit of time. It took quite a bit of time, but Carl never stopped. He was performing. He was doing gigs. He was doing some great stuff. And now the single is coming out, and Forevermore, and the album is going to be incredible when that comes out. And also as well, I must say, D-Shy is working on her album. Some of it was shot here. I'm not sure if you've seen the video. Some of it was shot in this actual studio. She's coming out with another single, and her album as well is going to drop. And once again, within the vein of gospel, that is going to be a hit. It's going to be incredible when it's done with D-Shy's album. And Yvonne Curtis has another track coming out pretty soon as well. And one thing I didn't mention, the reggae festivals that's happening all around the UK. I'll be there on the mic hosting and doing all that stuff with UB40 and General Levi and what's the other guy, the DJ from Radio 1. All of those guys. We will be there. The Hastings Festival, the Milton Keynes Festival I'll be hosting as well. The Manchester, I'll be hosting that as well. And there's also another one in Burton I'll be hosting there as well. So look out for those great reggae festivals. They're going to be phenomenal. Dexter's performing at the Camp Soul Festival. We'll be down there as well. I'll be there as well. That's going to be real hot. Dexter is at the Camp Soul, which is in a few weeks' time. We'll be there as well, partying with Dexter. And then Dexter's got at the Jazz Cafe. And then he's going to go to Manchester's Columbia House or something it's called. Then he's off to the New Morning in France. Then he's back here again. So Dexter's on a full tour. Yeah?
Brilliant. And you're managing all of that?
Unfortunately. That's why I'm so tired.
Well, one of your mates saw you online, George Williams, and he went, Mark, in capital letters. So he's saying hi to you, George Williams. Buckley's Country Club says, great show. And Sasha Skirrit is also watching and says hi. Thank you so much. And you keep
the thing is, at the end of the day, it's all fun. That's why music, working with the guys I'm working with, and we are going to sign more incredible artists coming up because we're one big family. We work with Joy Sims. We also manage Fonda Ray. We're going to be working with a lot more artists. I will be signing more to the label as time goes on. And even rap, even trap probably, and all that
Definitely,
stuff.
yeah.
But our intention is to grow. We're one great big happy family. We're all musicians and we love what we do. And we're not going to get caught up in the game of marketing and promotion and likes and follows. This is real music. Real music for the ears of people that don't need to see but hear.
Well, look, the next track I've got lined up is with you teamed up with Fonda Ray. Touch me, baby. Dun, 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 right? Tell me about this
phenomenal
track.
Voice.
Yes.
Is that the one you're playing? The one you're playing? Is that the one?
Let's have a look. Think about you.
Think about you. Yeah. Okay. Think about you. That track. As everybody knows, that Fonda Ray has got an incredible voice.
Yeah.
I mean, she'll sing to me down the phone or in a conversation. At the moment, she called me up the other day and says, Mark, I want you to show me how to make jerk chicken. So I said, okay. So that was a day ago. So now I've got to sort that out. And then she called my wife and says, I want your wife to show me how to make some African food. I said, okay, because Fonda loves doing a lot of stuff, but she's a phenomenal lady, incredibly kind lady, and she can sing. when I say sing, I mean belt, you know.
She can
And
sing.
we've done a lot of other tracks which ain't out there. We're going to clean them up and put them out eventually. This track, which is called About You, which me and Fonda did, it's a beautiful track. I produced the track, created it, and I said, Fonda, I did the bass on there and everything. I'm not the greatest of keyboard players, but I can get what I want doing this stuff. But I usually get other guys to play the keyboard for me and stuff. But I'm learning and I'm doing some more stuff. But if I hear the sounds, I can play it myself sometimes. But I'm more of a drummer and percussion and producing. But this track, I did do all myself, and I sent it out to Fonda, and she just sang on it, and it was a great track. So
great track. Well, I like it. Well, just before you go, tell us how we can get in contact with you.
Just email artist@digitaljukeboxrecords.com. Just visit the website digitaljukeboxrecords.com, or if you just type my name in Google, Black, spelled B-L-A-K, which stands for Because of Love and Kindness. Right? That's what Black stands for. None of this C stuff. Right? And Prophets has got a Z at the end of it. So if you remember how to spell my name, you will find me. Because of love and kindness.
Because of love and kindness. Thank you. You're a very loving and kind person. So thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you very much,
and here's your track, Fonda Ray and Black Prophets. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Yeah. How did I get myself into this situation? Thinking I could love somebody new. I never knew that it could be so complicated. I keep wondering why. I know that I can't deny what I feel inside between you and I. And I think about you, think about you every day.
Recording in progress.
Think about you, never does a day go away that I don't think about you. Oh baby, why can't you see what you meant to me? Why can't you see what you meant to me? Thinking about the way you touched me when you kissed me. That I don't wanna hurt nobody else. I'll never love the way I loved when you was with me. I keep wondering why. I know that I can't deny what I feel inside between you and I. Think about every day. Think about you. Never does a day away. Never think about you. Oh baby. Why can't you see? What you meant to me? Why can't you see? What you meant to me? Even though I know you mean so much to me, I know that you can never change nobody else. And when you feel some kind of way about your baby, you're just wondering why. So I close my eyes and I fantasize. Then I realize that I miss you so, and I
Hi, KO. Can you hear me? Okay, you need to unmute your mic. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you now loud and clear. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to one of my most patient friends in the world. I hope you were being looked after in the green room.
Yeah, indeed.
And I see you brought your best friend with you.
I was practicing. I've got a gig tomorrow.
You got a gig tomorrow. He's probably one of the hardest working men in the business. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Kyo Brown. And of course, we're listening to his rendition of Love Has Found Its Way. Is that a new track or is that one from your previous album?
Yeah, it's from the previous album, actually. The Put a Little Jazz in Their Lives.
Put a little...
Very, very popular. Right, yeah. Put a Little Jazz in Their Lives. Yeah, that album.
Wonderful. So, you know, you come up with all these interesting titles for your tracks, like Flight of an Icon, and you know, how do you are your albums concept led then?
They tend to be. There's always some kind of a theme. There's always some kind of a meaning, I guess. Yeah, always is.
So tell me about the current album that's coming up. What's the meaning behind this current album? What's it called?
Well, the album is actually, I've given it the same title as the current single, which is Can We Pretend? Mm-hmm. And the mantra for the album is vocal excursions with a tinge of guitar. It's just a mantra that I came up with. And the idea is that I've actually gone on a vocal excursion. I'm trying to extend my voice. I'm trying to look at the areas where I can do different things to improve my voice and explore different genres and put them together in my own sort of package, if you like, you know. So that's the idea behind it. And we started gigging this before we started recording it. So it's a quartet, it's 4 people. And the feedback has always been really good because what I've done is I've got some originals, but I've taken covers that I like from the soul, pop, jazz and reggae world and put them into my own formula, if you like, you know. So that'll be quite clear when the album comes out. But at the moment, the Can We Pretend track has picked up a lot of momentum in very quick time, and it seems to be very much liked.
So tell me about Can We Pretend before we play it. I'm going to give it a little burst so that we know what we're dealing with when we're sitting here listening to you.
I'm a major fan of Bill Withers. What a great artist and a great man he was, you know. Stood up for what he believed in, etc. Wasn't in the music business for the glitz and the fame. He just loved to sing and write music, and he's an iconic figurehead. So when we listen, or when we listen to people, follow people, or fans of people, it's nice when that person is a good soul, because it adds more meaning to your whole journey with them, as it were, you know. So that track, Can We Pretend, is just an amazing track with such a serious concept, and the way that he sings it, his melodies, the groove on it, etc. It's something I've always wanted to do, and it took me a while to pluck up the courage to do it, but here we are.
And did you have to speak to him?
What you do is that when you do, you've got to make sure that you register them, right? So you've got to register the fact that, you know, PRS, etc., PPL, you've got to make sure that you declare all that. So that's a process that you follow and keep everything above board and pay your license fee and that kind of stuff, because that's how artists get paid. That's one way they get paid.
So it seems like you've done a couple of covers. Do you ever get a bit nervous About
In what sense?
in the
About
sense
what?
of like, you know, you're troubling is what people would say, troubling a great track already, and you know what people are like, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, do you ever get nervous
I
playing
don't get
something?
nervous, but what it is, it's a good question. I don't get nervous. I actually take it even more seriously because it's somebody else's track and I'm doing my rendition or interpretation of it. So I like to feel that each cover that I've done, I'd like to feel like I gave it my best shot, and that I paid, gave it justice.
So sorry, things are just going off around me. So let's just have a listen to this track. Can we pretend?
Doom and do dum do da da. 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 Yeah. Do dum do da da. Doom and do dum do da da. Doom and do dum do da da. Yeah. Can we pretend that from now on there is no yesterday? Paint a portrait of tomorrow with no colors from today. There's a light that shines in your face sometimes, yeah. That take my feelings and wraps them around your knees. But there's a shadow that's hiding in your heart sometimes, that make my feelings turn back in on me. Yeah. Can we pretend the pain is gone and go on merry way? Yeah. Paint a portrait of tomorrow, yeah. Oh, with the colors bright and gay. There's a light that shines in your face sometimes, yeah.
I'm going to interject there because I want to know, your voice sounds fully developed already. What is it that you're working on? You frozen?
Well, I guess it took me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sounds like
Right. Yeah.
chocolate.
No, it took me. Well, it takes you to do it, to know whether you've kind of hit the mark. So I had to do it. But what was very helpful was that we had a number of gigs leading up to the recording. So we'd started playing the gigs about a year and a half, maybe even 2 years before we started doing the recording, and that was really, really, really good. And the first gig we did was at the Peter Express Dean Street, the jazz club. And without anybody knowing what the project was about, we filled the venue and got an amazing response. And I think one of the reasons why we got an amazing response was because I've actually taken some these genres and I've taken them and put them sort of out of context, if you like, you know what I mean? So you'll get a better understanding when you hear the rest of the album. You'll be shocked because I've taken some peach of the tunes from those 4 genres that I spoke about, and I've put them in this kind of groove.
Oh, we've lost you. We've lost you.
Hearing is, it's okay. I accidentally. Have you got me now?
Yes, got you back. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. So
Good, yeah.
you've mixed and
Essentially-
blended these different genres together.
Absolutely. And we played the album live. So what you're hearing is old school, old style live. We played it together at the same time. Double bass, acoustic piano, voice guitar, and drums. And the guys like Neville Malcolm double bass, Pete Adam Hill drums, Robin Asplan on acoustic piano and myself on voice and guitar. So the idea, I'm pushing the vocal side because, as I said, I wanted to explore it. And we went in there and we did an amazing. The collaboration was fantastic. It really, really, really was. But we worked really, really hard. Musicians work very, very hard. And what you're hearing, what people are often hearing, is a compressed version of all the years of hard work we put into what we do. But it was a most pleasurable experience. Amazing. So the response has been good. We're really enjoying that.
Sorry, I'm just excited to ask this question. So back in the day when they used to play live, and a track would turn into 15 minutes because it was all live and everyone was just kind of really jamming. I mean, how disciplined were you on this? Did you let anything go for 15 minutes? Did you really kind of all of a sudden twist it up and it became something totally different from where you started?
Well, only what we've done with the album, we've added 2 bonus tracks, and they're 2 live tracks. 2 live tracks from shows at a show at the Hideaway. And so we put those on as bonus tracks, so you can hear a lot of extended things going on there. For the recording, I wanted to be a bit more disciplined about it and to keep it within a certain time frame. But within that, there was plenty of freedom taking place. But we worked to a formula, and we expressed ourselves within that formula, because we wanted to keep it down to like 5-6 minutes and not 10, 12 or whatever. You know what I mean?
You want to kind of like shake your funky tail feather. But all right, so I'm going to play another track from your older album, Flight of an Icon, because I really love this track. All right, tell us about this.
Flight of the Icons, it's a tribute to my late mother and my late grandmother, who was her mother. And my grandmother was she was given the title the icon of the whole family. She was based in Canada, obviously, from Jamaica. And she was almost like the all-seeing matriarchal pair of eyes that was just looking at everyone and guiding everyone, even if you didn't speak to her. So when she passed just over a year before my mum did. And she died when she was 103. So they're very long livers. And my great-grandmother died at a similar age, apparently. And they're maroons. They're like proper maroons. And essentially, when my mum passed, I then gave it the plural, Flight of the Icons, to celebrate the life of my late mother and late grandmother, who's her mother.
Let's hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you've just joined us, thank you so much for choosing the great vibes and good, glorious music live syndicated phone-in show. Admittedly, we haven't asked you to ring the telephone that much today, only because we have special guests and they all have things that they want to bring to you, tunes they want to bring to you. So it's heavily on the good, glorious music for this show. Still to come, though, we're going to speak football with Paul Lawrence. And we also go to Jamaica to taste some of that lovely hot pepper sauce, David King's hot pepper sauce. lovely is that? It makes me want to go and run a bubble bath right now, light a few candles around it, and just relax. But we're fortunate and very, very lucky to be speaking to the guitarist himself, Kyo Brown. Now, is it the full title Kyo Brown, or do we just call you Kyo?
Well, I'll leave it to people to decide, but I generally just go out as Kyo. But I'm cool, you know.
Well, we know that you know, especially, what was that venue you've just mentioned, which is now closed up in Streatham?
The Hideaway.
Hideaway. Now, I know that you lived up there. You was always doing gigs up there. You was constantly...
It was nicknamed the Hideaway.
The Hideaway.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. You know,
I didn't realise until a few people told me, so yeah.
Really? They started calling it the Hideaway. We thought you'd bought it. So how have you managed throughout this lockdown? Because for somebody who's so active and out, how have you managed?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you know, I always give thanks to the man upstairs, you know, and my glass is always half full. So, you know, whilst, you know, the turmoil that was caused in people's ordinary lives, people getting sick, people passing, you know, people losing their jobs, losing their livelihoods, that was terrible. And so I found that I got into more introspection, because I do a lot of introspection anyway. You know, deep thinker. I think about what I'm doing in my life and what I need to do to improve it, etc. And I use the time very well. And I mean, I was still working. Thank God, you know, I just still carried on working, because music's not the only thing I do, obviously. But I was still working, and on the music front, I was just as creative. I didn't actually miss the live gigs. I didn't miss it, because my first thought was, I was just so grateful to God for you know, what He's given me over the years. I've, you know, achieved so much over the years, and had the opportunity to work with so many great people, that I tended to spend that time just giving thanks for what I had and what I have, you see, you know what I mean? And it was just a question of it, someday it'll come back and stuff. So I tended to focus on, you know, the things that I felt that I was really blessed with, and I carried on working same way, mainly in my studio at home, creating and producing things. So I just made the best use of the time, and I think the silence, the slowness was really good. You had more time to think, more time to do things for yourself, etc. Be even more creative, you know. So that's how it went for me.
Beautiful. Now, in the music world, where, you know, pop music sells the most, rap, reggae, you very rarely hear of an instrumentalist making it up the charts. What's your target when making music?
Yeah, unless your name is George Benson, you know, my hero.
Yeah.
So I guess in my head, I kind of think to myself, well, first of all, I've got to make sure that the music sounds right. Now, that's very subjective. So I will have people around me that will help me and be very critical about where it's going, where it's shaped, how it's shaped, etc. And I think about the market. And then I try not to get into figures. Oh, if I haven't sold this by then, oh, you know, I used to, but I stopped doing that. And I just almost like leave it to the forces out there. But I know that when I release stuff, I put my heart and soul into it. And then I'm now blessed with the fact that I'm working with a team of people where we look at publicity, we look at marketing, etc. We look at what's happening in terms of clubs, venues, promoters and tours. You know, what's happening in terms of where things are being played. It's a business. It's called a music business, so we have to take care of the business side. And I take that very, very seriously. So I do give myself many targets. But the most important thing for me from the get-go is that the music is right. So we've put our heart and soul into it. We've interpreted it and produced it in the best way we can. If we're doing any covers, we've paid justice to those those covers and paid respect to the originals. And also, I want to develop a relationship with people who subscribe to my website. And my website is, can I mention it?
Of course you can. I was going to ask you anyway, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's www.kyobrown.co.uk. So that's CIYOBROWN.com. It's free to subscribe to it. It's going really well. We've had a lot of people signing up, and I want to develop a relationship with my customer base or fan base, however you want to call it. I tend to prefer customer base. But and the idea is, I'm not just flogging stuff to people. I do want to develop a relationship with them. I want to speak to them. They'll be getting messages, seasonal or monthly messages, when they purchase the music. There's a thank you message. There's thank you videos. When people subscribe, they get a thank you email, a thank you video as well. And we want people to feel that they're part of a family that's growing, you know. And the other thing I should say is that with the proceeds of the sales, you know, it's not going to be funding like the next Mercs. You know, I'm going to be using part of that to do just mini charitable things, like, you know, making a donation from some of the proceeds to churches that are laying on food for people that have fallen on hard times, especially since COVID, or, you know, just little things like that that are actually they're quite big, but they're not big in terms of worldwide, but it's something. And I want to give something back, you know what I mean?
Every mickle make a muckle. All right, well, look, before you go, I want you to strum some of those strings that you have sitting on your lap. Can you give us a tune?
Okay. Jazzy mood for love, jazzy mood for love, yeah. Jazzy mood for love, jazzy mood. I'm in a jazzy mood for love, and I can feel that I just wanna hold you tight, because the feeling's right. And every time I kiss your lips, I realize that I just need a little more jazzy mood for love.
Woo! Kayo, thank you so much. Tell us again when we can expect the album.
Yeah, the album will be out. We're looking at the first week in August. I mean, I was toying with the idea of releasing another single, but I think I'll probably go for releasing the album now that the one single's out. So we're looking at the first week in August on the date to be announced. And that rendition I just played, we've got a swing version of Jazzy Mood for Love, because you remember it came out as a jazz reggae tune some years ago, and we've actually done a swing version, the jazz swing version, and we're so happy with it.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to give.
Also, I'm playing at the Tram Shed actually tomorrow.
Oh right, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Tram Shed, and that's in Shoreditch.
Okay, say it again because you cut out then.
Sorry, we're playing at a venue called the Tram Shed tomorrow. That's Saturday, the 17th of July. The Tram Shed in Shoreditch, and it's a quartet, so we'll be playing mainly instrumentals. We're going to be doing some funk numbers, some jazz numbers, and some bossa, some Latin type things,
Beautiful. Well, congratulations. Well done. Looking forward to the album and the videos and everything that goes with it. And Mr. Brown, we salute you. Here is Can We Pretend. Thank you for joining us.
Really thank you.
Thank you. Take care, Kayo.
Can we pretend that from now on there is no yesterday? Paint a portrait of tomorrow with no colors from today. There's a light that shines in your face sometimes, yeah, that take my feelings and wraps them around your knees. But there's a shadow that's hiding in your heart sometimes, that make my feelings turn back in on me. Yeah, shines in your face sometimes, yeah. That take my feelings and wraps them around your knees, yeah. But there's a shadow that's hiding in your heart sometimes, yeah. That make my feelings turn back in on me. Do-do-do-do.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, can we pretend the pain is gone and go our merry ways? Paint a portrait of tomorrow with the colors bright and gay. Ooh, there's a light that shines in your face sometimes. That take my feelings and wraps them around your knees, yeah. But there's a shadow that's hiding in your heart sometimes, yeah. That make my feelings turn back in on me, yeah. Oh, can we pretend? Can we pretend? Oh, can we pretend? Can we pretend? Can we pretend? Oh, can we pretend? 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 Can we pretend?
Many thanks to Calio for taking some time out to speak with us today. Wishing him all the very best. This is a track from the forthcoming album, Can We Pretend? So whilst we're waiting for our next guest to arrive, get your football hats on. Here's a chance to kind of, ask him some questions. Did you watch the match last week? How do you feel? Have you got over it yet? It's brought up a whole new topic.
Music inside will heal me, burning through my soul. I feel it passing right through me, everywhere that I go. The inspiration will find me, forming lyrics untold. My inner melodies guide me, I let my higher self flow. Singing through my fight as I sit and write, working through my pain while I'm dancing in the rain. Singing through my fight as I sit and write, working through my pain while I'm dancing in the rain. Therapy, oh therapy, to heal my heart. Music is my therapy.
Hi, Elaine. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. Who's calling?
It's Joan.
Joan. Oh, hi, Joan. How you doing, sweetheart? Thanks for calling.
I'm wonderful, wonderful. You're welcome. You're welcome.
What's happening
You're
in
welcome.
Joan's world today?
Oh, what is happening? I'm doing a GoFund for my little nephew.
Brilliant. You've called the right show. Tell me about the GoFund.
Okay, so we have my nephew's little brother. His name is Romario, and he's 9.
Yeah.
And he was born with a condition that they believe is called Hirschsprung disease, which is something that it affects the bowel. So the part of the bowel hasn't got the muscles that will help to bring feces down. So he ends up being constipated and impacted. So he's been going through a lot of problems with this. He's actually had a biopsy like last week sometimes, and they're just waiting for the results for that. He's in a lot of pain a lot of the time. He's got an extended abdomen because he cannot pass his feces naturally like we all can do. And so he's in a lot of treatment, a lot of pain management, and all sorts of things is going on. His mom is, besides herself with the treatment and the care that he has to have. But basically, he will have to have an operation to remove parts of the bowels. So all of this is very, very expensive because they're in Jamaica, and the doctors, privately, they charge quite a bit. So we are trying to do a GoFund for him in order for him to go through all the surgeries and the treatment that he needs to help him to get back on the road of recovery so that he can get back to school. Because he's a very bright little boy, but this is causing a lot of problem, and he's setting him back in many ways.
Wow. How long has this been happening? How long has this been happening?
He's been having it since he was born. He's had this problem, but it didn't sort of manifest until he was about 3. And, you just sort of watch children grow and play, and, they eat and they sometimes be constipated, and you don't really think very much of it until it gradually got worse. And he was on a lot of things for like you might have, over here we say lactulose or senna, things like that to help with the bowels. But it didn't really help that much anyway. And I think it's only a few months back they realised that something is seriously wrong with him.
Wow. Oh, my word. And so is he in hospital at the moment, or is he at home?
He's at home at the moment. He has a lot of times when he's actually in and out of hospital. He's unable to be at school because of the pain and everything. It's excruciating pain. It's like the bowels is just so twisted and impacted. His mom says there's times when she's talking to him and she can actually smell the feces coming out of his mouth.
Oh, wow.
And he's got to continuously be brushing and putting, toothpaste, Colgate and stuff like that to just sort of get the smell down, because it's like poisoning his body slowly.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's really, really bad.
Oh, girls, I'm really sorry. I'm feeling the pain as you're speaking, and him being so young as well.
Young.
Wow.
Yes.
And so is it a fatal? Well, it could be fatal, couldn't it?
Yes, it is. If it's not treated, because it can affect other organs. At the moment, they've done a biopsy, and they think there's something not right with the bladder as well, because the length of time that this has been going on, and because it was left undiagnosed, basically. And when things are left undiagnosed, it does deteriorate other organs. So they really do need to get this operation done ASAP. So the biopsy is really for them to know how damaged is the bowels, and how much they would need to cut away and what they'd have to do. Normally when they do this, they would put a stoma bag, which is where they bring out part of the colon, and they put a bag on it so that's how the feces, and they can empty that way. That way he won't be constipated and impacted. Some children, they're able to reverse it at a later stage, and some, unfortunately, have to keep it for life. So we
sorry
don't
to hear
know
this.
what.
And so, how much do we have to raise? How much are you trying to raise?
We are trying to raise 20,000. That's £20,000. And at the moment, we've got 3,497, something like that. We are the days that's left. I think we have 16 days. to go to get the rest of the funds that we're trying to find. Mum's done as much as she can, with her credit cards and everything, and so she's really sort of reaching out, just want to reach out to people that, can help in the situation. It's her only child, and, if you've got children, whether it's your only child or not, children, to go through sort of pain and sufferings like this, it's very, 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 very tough. It's very, very tough to see your child go through this and you can't really help because you can do what you can, but you still can't get rid of the pain because the only thing that's going to help is finance and for the surgery. And if your hands are kind of tied, then, you're just crying out. You're just reaching out to people and just asking people to just help.
Wow. And this surgery, will it happen in Jamaica or will he have to travel?
It might be in Jamaica, we're not too sure. It may be one of the neighbouring islands. We're not too sure about that as yet.
All right. So we're trying to raise the remainders, what was it, 17,000 now?
Yeah.
And you're doing that through GoFundMe?
GoFundMe, yes, we are.
All right. So what's the name of your GoFundMe page? How do we connect to it?
Right. So what I'll do is I could send this to you. Yes, is that okay? Let me see. The GoFund page is Romario. Let me get this up. Sorry about this. A little boy called Romario.
How are you spelling Romario?
Just a minute. So it's ROMARIO. Yeah, and it just helped Romario with medical expenses for several issues and Hirschsprung's disease, which is what they've diagnosed that he has.
Wow. Is this a common disease or is it just
It is a common. I'm not sure. We've got some information on it on the website, on his page, and also if anyone looks it up on the NHS page, website, just type it into Google. This is a childhood disease, and it's because of some chromosomal dysfunction during the process of, during pregnancy. Normally, apparently, they find it when they're born and maybe they'd run some tests, but for some reason, I don't know, this has been overlooked, and so it wasn't caught in time. And I think if they found out earlier, they probably would have been able to rectify or to adjust or operate earlier, so it probably wouldn't have got so severe.
Yeah. Oh, very sorry. One more time, tell us where we can find the GoFundMe page.
Okay, so the GoFund page, if you go to go get funding at Help Romario with medical expenses for several issues and Hirschsprung disease, and that should come up. And you have to GoFund page. Let's see. I'm not sure if there's a number for this, but if what's the best way?
Don't worry. If you send it to me or put it on my page on Facebook or send it via WhatsApp, I'll get that circulated and definitely give it a mention when I'm next on air. But I'm sorry to hear that, Joan. Really sorry to hear that, and I really do wish him all the best. I think I'm going to play a gospel track so we can all pray for him. All right?
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for calling the studio. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you, Joan. Take care.
Thank you. No problem.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Troubles, don't cry. Oh no. Just remember that God is standing by. Hold on, yeah. When you have heartaches, don't cry. Oh no. Just remember that God is standing by. Some Just remember, God is standing by. Thank you, Lord. So there's no need to cry. Oh, God is standing by. Thank you, Lord. So don't you worry and don't cry. No, no. When you have troubles, don't cry. Oh no. Just remember that God is standing by. When your cup running over, just remember God is standing by. Thank you, Lord. So there's no need to cry. God is standing by. Thank you, Lord. So don't you worry and don't cry. Oh Lord, yeah. Forget about your troubles. Forget about your pain. Yeah. Put your trust in the Father. Yeah. Oh Lord. God is standing by. Thank you, Lord. So there's no need to cry. No need to cry. Oh, God is standing by. Lord Almighty. So don't you worry and don't cry. Don't cry. Forget about your troubles and don't cry. No. Forget about your pain and don't cry. Just trust in the Father and don't cry. No, I know don't shed no tears. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. Gemini, yeah.
Recording in progress.
Smage. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes and ting. Yeah. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes and ting. Yeah. Magnum and dragon in a makeup. Have a fat sexy gal a bubble up. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes. She a give me vibes and ting. Yeah. Started smooth and we get rough. She like it when we mix it up. Me set the mood, she fix it up. And it sweeter like a sweetie chop. Now on your name the pleasure touch, yes. And we just can't get enough. She lay it down, me lift it up. And her legs them shake when she get up. We have up the vibes, we have up the vibes. We have up the vibes and ting, yeah. We have up the vibes, we have up the vibes. We have up the vibes and ting, yeah. Magnum and dragon in a makeup. Have a fat sexy gal a bubble up. We have up the vibes, we have up the vibes. She a give me vibes and ting, yeah. I'm the one that she's telling her secrets. It's because you know I will keep it. In the bedroom, that's where we leave it. She a freak, best believe it. Sometimes I leave her speechless. And I gotta run the defense. Gotta jump in off the deep end. Long time on a recent. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes and ting. Yeah. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes and ting. Yeah. Magnum and dragon in a me cup. Have a fat sexy girl a bubble up. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes. She a give me vibes and ting. Yeah. We have the vibes. Yeah. We have the vibes. Yeah. We have the vibes. Yeah. She keeps me alive. Yeah. We have the vibes. Yeah. We have the vibes. We have the vibes. Yeah. Keeps me alive. Yeah. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes and ting. Yeah. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes and ting. Yeah. Magnum and dragon in a me cup. Have a fat sexy girl a bubble up. We have up the vibes. We have up the vibes. She a give me vibes and ting. Yeah.
Chimney. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'ma keep my thing up. No going back, no, no, no. Yeah, yeah. Jordan. You see when me do me, you go do it till the day I die. Happy life, man, want to live, so every day I smile. When me no want, me no focus, pan can't bother with that Jordan. Love the life when me live and me no want this stop, yeah man. So me keep it up like heaven, yeah. Look life is hell and I don't wanna go. That's why me up from 7, yeah. Hard life I hate and I don't wanna know. Me tell every ghetto youth get your money up. It too hard when it know enough. Life sticky, got me stuff. You see me up it up. Me no want go back to me old days, so me try to make the right step. Eating now for me flesh, so me try not left the 9X, so me keep it up like heaven, yeah. Look life is hell and I don't wanna go. That's why me up from 7, yeah. Hard life I hate and I don't wanna know. Hey, yeah. Who knows it, feel it. Every day I contribute to being rich. My dogs, them on the realest. Money never change with nor these chicks. Listen, you see when me you do me, you go do it till the day I die. Happy life, man, want to live, so every day I smile. So me keep it up like heaven, yeah. Look life is hell and I don't wanna go. That's why me up from 7, yeah. Hard life I hate and I don't wanna know. Keep it up. One been through enough. I don't wanna go back to those days. No, 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 no. Yeah. Keep it up like heaven. Look life is hell and I don't wanna go. Chimney, yeah, yeah. It's a low, it's a lit. Jordan.
Good production.
She pretty like city lights. Pretty like city lights. Yeah. The way she a move, give me a trini vibe. Yeah. Every year that we turn, anywhere she go. A girl not dep on your level, setting on dead so. Any man where they we don't know one, let her go. Yeah. So I coulda wish she on different I go. When them say you them sick class, independent, my call her lady boss. Watch them all look when she pass. No girl, no secret for talk. Cause you a role model. Role model. So every girl want be like you. Them want to do the things you do. You stand out for true. Come me get tell her she a role model. You man proud of you. So a girl want be like you. She want to do the things you do. You stand out for true. So what me do? Give her the ring cause she deserve it. Skin clean like she preserve it. Your body no fit everybody, you reserve it. Get stress free while them a live miserably. Tell them how you pop your talk. Designer bag, sexy, yeah, you put the S in the swag. Your face and your shape, that make them a mad. Cause you a role model. So every girl won't be like you.
Well, I tell you who's definitely a role model. Carmen in San Antonio. We go all the way to Jamaica right now, St. Margaret's Bay. I've been there personally, I've sampled the food, and I'm proud to tell you that they've now launched King David's hot pepper sauce. Oh my word, that's looking mighty, mighty tasty. The sun is beaming. I'm not quite sure what time it is in Jamaica. What time is it in Jamaica, David? David, can you hear me? Right, it doesn't look like they've got their microphone on. David, do you have your microphone on? Please put your microphone on.
So every girl won't be like you. Them want to do the things you do. You stand out for true. Come and get tell her she a role model. Jamil proud of you. Girl won't be like you. She want to do the things you do. You stand out for true. To all my beautiful ladies worldwide. Model. Yeah.
Hey David, can you hear me? Nope, he's on camera, but he can't seem to hear me. Why can't you hear me now? Hello, David, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Nope, can't hear me. All right, so we're having a technical right now. Let's play another tune, and let's see if we can't sort it from our end.
Production.
Ellie, yo, Dancehall University.
Watch it, eh. Step out, eh. Watch it, eh. Roll out, no. Watch the dancers that swing out them foot. We come fi kick down bad mind. Dancer blink, show them one time. Dance we no commit no crime. Yeah, them no want see we live like overdose cancers a celebrate life. Active, immortal, them they a thumbs up every night. The dancers, them a make a statement. Foot them a beat up the pavement. This a the dancer, them segment. I saw all of the hot girl, them fi de. TNT a kick it way. Shelly Belly, you know what John Wick him say. This a the dancer, them segment. Try stop with food, Marvin going a be smooth and DJ turn it up. Dancers have the place burning up. Why they not stop dance till him earning up? This a the dancer, them segment. Me a beg you fi turn it up. Sweat walk exclusive, firming up. Want study them until you learn enough. This a the dancer, them segment. Alright, stop what you doing. Follow essence and come along. Make we take a stroll with hectic diamond. Oh geez, go hype yourself, you are done. Money you fi make fi expression rubber band. Do the follow fashion, you fi follow black dice. Elite team, jabba, what a dance nice. Super champs, Sri Lanka, real chop, bop, go kid that shot. Them a make a statement. Foot them a beat up the pavement. This a the dancer, them segment. Yeah, you will see we anywhere the party there. TNT a kick it way. Shelly Belly, you know what John Wick him say. This a the dancer, them segment. Try stop with food, Marvin going a be smooth and DJ turn it up.
Hi David, can you hear me now?
Until you learn enough. This are the dancer, them segment. Yeah, round a boom Sundays, can't daddy. Uptown Monday still going steady. Both the Tuesdays, Magnum and Weddy. Whoppings all star, they rated them ready. Big Thursdays, you know me link heavy. Roll out, go spicy Fridays like a Chevy. And if I put it, watch him up, be a nickel, me ready. Be ready. When you're ready, figure. Turn it up. Dancers have the place burning up. I run and stop dance till him earn enough. This are the dancer, them segment. Me a beg you fi turn it up. Sweat walk exclusive, firming up. Want study them until you learn enough. This are the dancer, them segment. Give me where you know. Watch it, eh. Step out, step out, step out, step out, eh. Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, eh. Roll out, roll out, roll out, roll out, no. Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, eh. Step out, step out, step out, step out, eh. Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, eh. Roll out, roll out, roll out, roll out, no. Turn it up. Dancers of the place burning up. Why they not stop dance till him earning enough? This are the dance of them segment. Me I beg you fi turn it up. Sweat walk exclusive firming up. One study them until you learn enough. This are the dance of them segment. Some 2020 1, few 3, 4, 5. Dancing, keep the dance all alive. Who no one see it, I forgot hide. Get a youth, rise and strive. Swear, thirst is nothing. Zoom, image is everything. Shizzle.
Swerve, swerve, okay, swerve, okay, swerve, okay, swerve, okay, swerve, okay. Baby, twist your waist and make it turn. Swerve, swerve, okay, swerve, okay, swerve, okay, swerve, okay, swerve, okay. Baby, twist your waist and make it turn. Bully on the beat or just
Recording stopped.
a beat. Met this chick for 1 hour, now she pushing me to beat. She ain't looking at my eyes, I caught her looking at my meat. Had to tell her real quick, I'm probably beating, then I'm bouncing. Gave her one like a fountain, baby girl, I need to know. Is it me or the diamonds? Back in 011, being bored was never ending. I was moving apes and bendings and I made like 1,000. Vibe too
Recording
real, now
in
the galley
progress.
one. Met a couple times and now she's talking about love. I'm getting money, can't you see that I'm up? The Henny and the Coke, I mix it straight in my swerve. Swerve, okay, swerve, okay, swerve, okay, swerve, okay, swerve, okay. Baby, twist your waist and make it turn. Swerve, swerve, okay, swerve, okay, swerve, okay, swerve, okay, swerve, okay. Baby, twist your waist and make it turn.
I'm gonna tell them what I'm swearing on the beat. Me obsessed with the ass, I gotta hold it like a C. Me don't want the only fans, I wanna be the only fan. I guess the viewer body's reading, I'ma chew it like a chewer. Hello, I run and watch it. I'm a BBC while you're competing with a thorn. Helicopter doggy, I'm a man that does it all. Aiming at the face of Harry's mama lying down and getting hit her with a ball like an A-train. Too quick when on my V game, no lane. Free flowing, you lot are too plain, man's blowing. God knowing that I'ma entertain.